Hi, this is author and JFK researcher Richard Hooke, and I just thought I'd give you a tour of my library here. I thought it might be kind of interesting for some of you, so here we go. So here it is. Won't be here forever, so I just wanted to show you all the books I have on the Kennedy assassination and everything else. This is my wife calls it the captain's quarters after Captain Hooke, but anyway, here's all my books over here on the Kennedy assassination. Quite a few. And have my little statue I got at the TSBD of President Kennedy, and then Socrates, who asked a lot of questions, and he ended up dead too. Actually, they gave him a choice of being banned or drinking the poison and staying. So he drank the poison rather than leave his city. Socrates is a very great man. Also, up here we have Julius Caesar, who was killed in the Senate. Similar to John F. Kennedy. I mean, I hear that he didn't want to charge interest on money either, and the senators all got together there in the chamber and stabbed him, so they couldn't blame it on one particular guy, kind of like the Kennedy assassination, where they all met the night before at Murchison's mansion and signed off on the hit, and on two affidavits that LBJ put one in his pocket and J. Edgar Hoover put one in his. We don't know what happened to those, but everybody, all the bigwigs were signed in, so it would decrease the chance that they were going to talk. They were all in it together, and that's why they did that. But anyway, here's my books, and I just thought I'd show you a couple of them here. I mean, up here, we got the great books by Judith Ferry Baker, Me and Lee, David Ferry, Phil Nelson's great book. I'm not going to be able to mention them all. Many great books here. These ones here, Mackenzie's original book that I edited, got off the internet when I first spotted it. Here's Harvey and Lee by John Armstrong. One of the best books of all time, even though I don't believe there was a double exactly like he said. He has all the Oswald incidents documented in there. I highly recommend it because you can figure out what Lee was actually doing just by following those, no matter whether it was his smart Lee or his dumb Lee. More often than not, it was the same guy. But John Armstrong, very great book. Let's see, down here, we got some more. Okay, we got JFK and the Unspeakable. Fantastic book there. James W. Douglas. Got some on the assassination of RFK by William Pepper. Last Investigation by Gayton Fonzie. Crossfire, Jim Mars. On the Trail of the Assassins, Jim Garrison. Girl on the Stairs, Barry Ernst. Okay, here we go. We got some science books up here. Carl Sagan, great book about how science is just a candle in the dark. It's on the verge of being snuffed out by all superstitious theories and things going around. So here's some more here. Bill Sloan's great book where he's got Hugh Huggins, the Bethesda autopsy documented, so you can see they accidentally put the real JFK on the table instead of Tippit that they'd mocked up. And so we got to see the real JFK's body and where the wounds really were until they terminated that autopsy and burnt the notes. Okay, Bill Sloan's great book here, JFK Breaking the Silence. Many more here. I just thought I'd show you. Beverly Oliver's great book, Nightmare in Dallas. I highly recommend this book. I mean, she's got everything in there. When she was working there at the clubs downtown, and then also when they made the movie later with Oliver Stone, and she came back, and so it's got a whole story of her life and many things. Her whole life story. It's a real eye opener. She's been through everything in her life. That's for sure. Okay, we got here some books on the Bay of Pigs. Some books I got from Rod Mackenzie up here. A lot of books. So anyway, I just thought I'd come over here, show you the books that I'd written. Here's a Oswald 50 Points of Light poster I did here. Proves he was in the doorway. 50 points of unique ID between Oswald and the doorway at 12:30 and at the Dallas police station later that afternoon. Proves without any doubt he was in the doorway and didn't do any shooting. But here are the books that I've done on the Kennedy assassination. Done 8 of them. They're all available electronically on Amazon Books. Some of them are big. They're even bigger than here. So it would be very expensive to print them up and sell them. I mean, more than a few of them are 500 pages. And just to print them up, you got to do it in black and white. Whereas if you download them electronically, you get my books in color. And you can take the collages and expand and contract them with your fingers. So actually it works very well. So I recommend you take a look at my books. You get a good free preview. You don't have to buy them. Just take a look at them and you'll see. I think they have much to offer on Amazon Books. And so here they are. And actually, this is the first one I did with a little assistance from Larry Rivera, although I was pretty much on my own in those days. Proving Oswald was in the doorway, the man with the Mona Lisa smile. Then this was my big book, 12 Shots That Shook the World. It's got everything. It covers since I was a little kid on November 22nd, 63, in my second grade classroom when they announced that the president had been shot. It goes through all the history leading up to the Kennedy assassination. It's got broken down all of the shots, the shooters, and various subplots after that of all the various characters involved, such as the 3 Tramps and Chauncey Holt, Charles Harrelson and Charles Rogers. I've got a chapter on George H.W. Bush, who was either in or outside the Dell Tech building managing a hit team. There's just dozens of chapters in there. This was my big book, 12 Shots That Shook the World. It's over 600 pages. Now here, I did 3 books with Rod McKenzie, former disc asset and mafia associate. And this is my one letter to McKenzie, he sent me a lot of letters telling his experiences, and I've got them in there in this book in his writing. And they're very, actually, people could do a little bit of research themselves. I haven't even looked at these in the detail that they should, but there's many, many letters in here of his accounts. He was the manager of the Holland Avenue safe house. And he made fake ID for the DIA. He'd been trained by the CIA. The Defense Intelligence Agency, Rod McKenzie, managed the Holland Avenue safe house and was at the Dallas Cabana Motel 2 doors down from Frank Sturgis the final week before the hit on President Kennedy. Here are the books where Rod McKenzie told his story. The Men That Don't Fit In, he told his story of how he started out, he was in the Korean War, came back to San Francisco, met his friend Bill Morgan. They went down to Los Angeles. Bill Morgan knew Johnny Roselli, got hooked up with him. They went out to Las Vegas. I believe, he was given some tips and burglarized some rich clients they had there at Las Vegas. That's the way they would do it. But then he was told by the police to leave town. So McKenzie and Roselli, they headed down to Miami, went over to Havana, Cuba. McKenzie was a bartender at the Hotel International, and he met them all down there. Frank Sturgis, Del Graham, he met them all. He was given a tip when Castro was going to come in to take over and went back to Miami 3 days before. McKenzie went to New Orleans and made fake ID in 63. Very early in 62 and 63. Actually, in the summer of 63, he was making fake ID. Early in 63, he was making fake ID in New Orleans. Then he came in 62. Then he came down, he came to Dallas in like June of 63, and they made him manager of the Holland Avenue Safe House. And so that's what he was doing there. Originally, they thought President Kennedy was going to be brought to Baylor Hospital instead of Parkland, and they were going to have Mackenzie planted there, and God knows what they were going to have him do. Roselli was there with him in the cafeteria for a short time, but President Kennedy went to Parkland, so Mackenzie didn't have to do whatever they were going to have him do. Maybe plant a magic bullet, or he was a surgeon's assistant. I mean, who knows? They might have asked him to change the wounds to make it look like they all came from behind from a lone nut. But anyway, Rod didn't have to do that. But these are the books I did with him. He tells his story, and I've got various chapters in the back of my own analysis of things too. This is the large blue one available on Amazon Books in a printed copy and electronic. And then we have a smaller version there, a little less price. Now, here's a book here I did with Beverly Oliver with some phone interviews and verified her account. And I can tell you, Beverly, what she says in there totally destroys the official account. And she was on the infield. It was her. It was definitely her. She saw the shots coming over the lower picket, the final shot come over the lower picket fence in James Files' position, and it looked like a bucket of blood coming out the president's head. And Beverly saw there. She said the shots definitely came over the picket fence. And then after that, she saw Roscoe White coming down off the knoll when everybody was running up there. But she knew him. She knew what he looked like because he used to come by to the Jack Ruby's club and pick up Roscoe White, Geneva White, who was a waitress. And so Beverly knew what Roscoe White looked like, and she met eye contact with Roscoe as he was coming down off the knoll. And Beverly's film actually was confiscated the next Monday. They came and got it. Regis Kennedy got it from Beverly in Dallas. It was probably because Roscoe tipped them off that Beverly has the film and we just better go get it now. So that's probably what happened there. So that was the book I did with Beverly through a series of many, many phone interviews, and also went down to Dallas and I met her and talked with her, and she's a very great lady and she's telling the truth. Okay. And here I've got this one here that I did not too long ago, The Path Toward Truth. And as you can see, the Illuminati evil pyramid overshadowing Dealey Plaza. They built a skyscraper there, just like just like on the back of our $1 bills, to kind of show their power of how they, the financial guys, took over our country on November 22nd, 1963. I guess that gives them a turn on to show that they have control over us by building that building leering down in the plaza. But anyway, I analyzed the hit teams in this book on the grassy knoll like has never been done before, and put forward my theory that James Files was a shooter. Frank Sturgis was his spotter, right behind him, managing Roscoe White and Tippett and Files. And Sturgis ran off Files' rifle, and he was the man in the hat that Ed Hoffman saw that ran off the rifle. That's my theory there. So that's all on The Path Toward Truth, plus many other things. And here's the most recent one I did with JFK assassination researcher Rachel White from the United Kingdom. We took it a step further. We've proven heavy complicity of Buell Wesley Frazier, Ruth and Michael Payne, Linnie Mae Randall, and really wrapped the whole thing up. I really recommend it. And this is available on Amazon Books. And if you contact me through a message on Facebook, I do have some printed copies available. But this is a takedown. Rachel White did the 6 leading chapters in the book, and she's really good. I'm telling you, it's stunning. So I highly recommend this book. Okay. Now, being I'm an author and have always had a real love of books, a genuine love of books my entire life, I thought I would show you a little kid's book I found here. And it's got some interesting stuff in it. It was printed in 1964. So just a second here.